Okay. First of all, just to recap on what we've been talking about in chapter 6 and in the first part of the course, because starting from chapter 7 onwards, this is considered the part 2 of the course and part 2 of your project. طبعا we already started part 2 from the chapter 5 to set your IMC objectives and to decide what is going to be your message strategy, and then to talk whether it's going to be cognitive, affective, or cognitive, and then to write down your objectives based on your choices. And then you're going to start thinking about, okay, what is going to be my campaign message? And then choose my appeal or appeals. You can choose, of course, more than one appeal, as you all know. And then what is the executional framework that you're going to be using? Remember, animation, storytelling, slice of life, and all this stuff. You have to choose only one. And then also you have to start to think about your sources or your brand ambassadors or all this, tamam? And this is very, very, very important choices, and who are going to be your partners or alliances. And really, nowadays we are living in the era of alliances and partners. Very important to have partners to back up your campaign and to support your brand values and brand image that you want to have in the market. So try to make the right choices when it comes to this decision. After that, it's time for the action plan. It's time to choose what kind of tools are most appropriate to deliver my message. You're going to have a budget, okay? That's the only constraint that you have. You're going to take your budgets after you finish your marketing briefs and they are approved. You're going to have a budget, and you're going to have you have to design a 1 month campaign, week by week. Tamam? You have to make sure that you cover all your objectives from cognitive to cognitive, the objectives that you wrote in the beginning of the creative brief. So this is here comes the art part, the art. Whereas we said before that advertising, like marketing, is an art and a science. صح? A science, we are taking theories, we are like hierarchy of effects theory, we are many other things we discussed and the ways of doing things, very nice. However, there's also the art, which is about how to think out of the box about things, how to be a little bit innovative, how to make the appropriate design to meet your objectives, how to design the appropriate campaign to meet your objectives. And this is about where the design, where the art part comes. So starting from chapter 7, we're going to start talking about the IMC tools and the different choices that are available for you. On what basis are you going to choose? How are you going to do the match? The match between objectives, target market, and tools. The best match. Looking for the best point where my message touches base with my target market. And this is the essence of IMC. Okay, this is about implementing IMC, not just IMC theoretically, no, IMC also practically. How you can really design a 360 campaign where the message surrounds the consumer from every part, from everywhere, and at the same time, I'm covering all my objectives from awareness to behavior. So now we're going to start talking about the tools. Chapter 7 and chapter 8, they go hand in hand, because one is about traditional IMC tools like TV, radio, outdoor ads, print ads with all the kinds of different print ads. And the digital is in chapter 8, where we're talking about, of course, the digital marketing tools, including, we're going to have a separate chapter totally about social media in chapter 9. Chapter 10, we're going to talk about alternative marketing techniques. Chapter 11, chapter 13, 12, 13, we're going to talk about sales promotion, personal selling. We're going to try to take as much tools as we can so that you have a huge garden to choose from, the most appropriate that suits you and your target market and your budget, and that best covers your objectives. So this is just a brief introduction about about the second part of the course that we are already started, but we are going to, inshallah, today resume by starting with the traditional. طبعا there is an ongoing debate, and this is going to be assignment number 3. It's going to be due after your midterm, inshallah, not now. I'll give it to you next week, but it will be due after the midterm, because I don't want to disturb you with too many things now. I know that you're overwhelmed with your projects already, with the midterm, with your presentation, with this. So I'll give you the assignment next week, but it will be due after the midterm. And the assignment is basically the debate, the ongoing debate between traditional versus new media. Which is more important than which? Some people say traditional media, khalas, throw it away. Nobody watches TV, nobody reads the papers, nobody listens to the radio. Some people say no, it's still there. We can use it in some specific situations or some specific to cover some specific objectives. يعني it is what I want to say. This is going to be your next assignment, inshallah. I'm going to put you a group of questions. It's like in the normal circumstances, if we are in class, we have a class debate between the groups. It's like a competition. It's very interesting. I do it in a very nice way. So unfortunately, it's going to be online. It's going to be difficult to make this online. So it's going to be a group and individual, by the way. I'm going to give a chance to the groups to talk, and at the same time, you have to submit something on Blackboard for your grades, inshallah. Okay, so now I want you to see a very interesting introductory video about the traditional versus new media, and then inshallah we start our discussion in chapter 7, inshallah. Any questions so far? It's clear what we're going to be doing inshallah today? Everything is okay? Tamam?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now let me quickly show you the nice video I prepared for you guys about Bismillah. What is the okay? What's happening? 1 second, I'm sorry. How it's affecting your video. You want to sorry. Yeah. Okay. This is the video I wanted to see. There's other
Making the
videos on
choice
my
between
channel.
traditional and digital media probably isn't as easy as it sounds. Digital media and traditional media are two sides of a very different coin. Traditional media refers to mediums that are part of our culture for over half a century. These forms include television, radio, print advertisements, and billboards. Digital media refers to audio, video, and image content that has been encoded. Encoding content involves converting audio and video input into digital media formats. Typically, this includes social networking sites, website advertisements, blogs, vlogs, and podcasts. So, traditional media or digital media, which is better for business? The form of media that you choose to use for marketing and advertising is a decision that is critical for business growth. This decision is largely affected by two factors. Budget. If you're a well-established company or simply have more than enough money to use on marketing and advertising efforts, traditional media and digital media can both be used together. However, if you're just starting out and do not have a huge budget, digital marketing through social media and display ads is likely to be the most realistic option. Targeted marketing. If your marketing efforts need to be particularly targeted, a prerequisite to making your decision would be to segment your target market. This segmentation could be done by age groups, interests, income level, geographical location, and interactivity. Customers or potential customers in this day and age are scattered and continuously flow between the virtual and real world. Therefore, being present at both junctions and interacting with customers are the best way to ensure sustained and massive business growth.
Okay. So, quickly, what's your feedback about the video? Tell me.
I think depends on the target market, as he said on the video. Like, what are we targeting? Specific
Khaled.
segment,
Khaled Al-Hajri, hi. At last I saw you, because you haven't been showing me your face. Go ahead.
So it depends on your target market. What's your target? Is it like old people, young people? What's your consumers? So
Yes.
maybe they prefer like using the traditional media or the new media. So it depends actually.
It depends on your target market, bravo, and it's the characteristics of your target market. What else? What do you think? What do you guys think is the main characteristic of traditional media?
Traditional and the new media, they're like the same from the. It's like the sides of the same coin. So they're both like assist you to push your sales and do marketing. So they're actually
they both support us in everything, of course, in different ways. Isa, please, Isa, put your mic off for whoever has the mic on. There's a lot of
ولا حر.
يا عيسى اقفل المايك يا عيسى. خلاص تمام. سوري يا خالد. كمل يا خالد.
Yeah, when you first watch the video, there is a coin, and it's like
Two sides,
emphasizing
yeah, yeah.
the idea of the same logic of the traditional media and the new media. That they do this, they have the same concept, which is like
Yes, of course, I
doing
agree with you. They
advertising,
have
right?
the objective of maximizing the reach of my message and the value or the meaning of my brand. Yes, but of course they are doing it in two completely different ways. They are not the same at all. Even he said in the beginning of the video, you might seem that they are two sides of the same coin, or they might seem, but it's not an easy decision to make. يعني it needs a lot of information, and I agree with you. And I think that most of you agree that the idea of identifying your target audience and the characteristics of your target audience is key to be able to know which kind of tools are most appropriate. This is why we are doing the marketing briefs. This is why we have targeting in our marketing briefs, and we have identification of our target markets and explanation of our target markets. If we do not have this, we will not be able to choose the appropriate tools. صح ولا لا؟ يعني can we start working now on choosing our tools? Could we have taken this chapter in the beginning of the term? Was it possible?
No, doctor.
I think we needed the background.
Exactly, and we had to go back to basics of marketing. We had to go back of marketing management and marketing basics. You had to go back to some marketing research so that I can stand on a solid ground. Even the information that you guys collected in your assignment about the Northwestern University, the one about the media listening and the media habits of the people in Qatar and the different platforms and the penetration and reach of different platforms and so on. You need this information to be able to understand where to place your ads. Definitely. So you're going to be using it now. When it comes to your media placing and buying, you're going to be using it now. And maybe I show some of the projects also, some of the girls, they put this information in their secondary data. Yani when I asked for some secondary data, so they referred to the information from this study, which is also extremely and which is very useful actually. So it's interesting to see. But what is really the most common and obvious thing or characteristic of traditional media? From your point of view, يعني from your own experience and from the video, what is the one main characteristic that makes traditional media different?
I think
Huh? It's a question for all of you. يعني.
for the traditional media.
تاني معلش you're cutting يا خالد. Go ahead. Huh? What?
I said by its name, it's traditional, which is for old people. Unlike the new media, it's for the new generation.
انت you don't watch BN Sports يا خالد, you don't watch matches on BN Sports?
Yeah, I can watch it from my cell phone or my laptop, but old generation, they prefer watching it from TV.
You don't watch it on TV, huh?
Maybe I don't have time to watch from TV. Like right now, I'm having my virtual class, so maybe I will prefer to watch it from my laptop.
But
for example.
we cannot assume that traditional media is for old people, because we can listen to a radio station.
Generally, I mean, generally speaking.
يعني لا, I disagree with you. Then you can listen to a radio station. You can listen to a radio program that's nice for you, on that's about songs or whatever that you are following every day. For example, going back from work. And radio is traditional.
Radio stations like
radio stations now they have Virgin, يعني Virgin Megastore, for example, in Dubai.
As millennial generation. Can you hear me? Yeah, I don't use radio. I use YouTube on my car and listen to music.
We cannot build our assumptions on personal experiences. We have to have research. By research, until now, the youth generation, they watch some TV, not too much TV, but some. Yes, of course, mostly YouTube. I totally agree with you. And but at the same time, no, radio is booming. By the way, radio is coming back. Even in Qatar, new radio stations are being inaugurated in Qatar. Okay, with different languages. Qatar is a very multicultural environment. Yeah, people listening to French stations, people listen to Spanish stations. يعني صراحة very diversified environment, and not necessarily that people who listen to the radio are old people. No, we cannot assume this In Emirates, there's a huge audience behind radio, and there is a Virgin Megastore. They have their own radio station, and it's totally followed by youth. You understand me? So we cannot presume this. But I'm not talking about specifically this type of generalization. What is general about traditional media in terms of reach? That's what I want to say. What is the main characteristic of traditional media in terms of reach? Can anybody tell me? Huh?
Maybe it's geography, doctor.
No.
Maybe
Think
it's
think about your objectives. Think about how spread it is, or how exposure, the exposure. What is common in traditional media?
maybe its reach is limited to the target market.
No, it's a total opposite, actually, Muhammad. One of the main characteristics of traditional media is that we call it mass media. TV is mass media. Radio is mass media. Outdoor is mass media.
More
You know what I
accessible.
mean? It is reaching a very huge base of consumers.
Yeah, maybe some people they don't have access to internet.
Can you imagine? No, we're not comparing this. I'm talking to you about traditional media. One of the main characteristics of traditional media حتى بالعربي بنسميها الوسائل الجماهيرية. الوسائل الجماهيرية. It's mass media. Okay, you understand me? It's mass media. يعني putting an ad on TV during any kind of program, or during a football match, during this. Look at how many millions of people are seeing the ad. Can you imagine? Can you imagine يعني احنا كان عندنا الفيفا كاب دلوقتي in any of the matches. Can you imagine the exposure of the ads, how big and huge it is? Putting the ad there in this time, in a normal TV program, in a satellite channel, in movie, NBC2, whatever. But there is a huge exposure. And one of the main characteristics of traditional media, generally speaking, is that it's mass media. It reaches a huge number of consumers globally. The question is بقى, it reaches those consumers, but are they all the target market that I'm looking for? We don't know. This is another, everything has a pro and con. Nothing is 100% lovely and perfect. You cannot depend on traditional media 100%. You cannot depend on new media 100% as well. Okay, you have to know exactly to balance your choices. That's very important. But there are some main characteristics of these kinds of media. Traditional media, mass media, wide exposure for sure. Like for example, new media, it's more niched, it's more specific, it's more targeted, what we call micro marketing. It's really you can really target your target market very precisely using new media compared to traditional media. For example, you understand? Because when you do your campaign, for example, online, you choose the target audience with this behavior and specifications and age and characteristics exactly to match your target audience. Can you do this in traditional media? You cannot. Can you guarantee that everybody watching the TV is your exact target market? You cannot. Can you guarantee that everybody who is going to read the newspapers is what you're looking for in your target market? Of course, you cannot guarantee. But you can guarantee that a wide audience will see it? Yes, you can guarantee that. But here, we are less concerned about the type of audience. If you're less concerned about the type of audience, this is a good choice for you. If you are more concerned about the type of audience, which is mostly now what brands are concerned about, this is why they are shifting their budgets to digital, you have to take care of the new media as well and look at it in a different way. So it's an ongoing debate. It has pros and cons, and it's the new generations and the new businesses are more for, of course, new media because it's less costly for them. Another characteristic for the traditional media is it's more expensive. It's more expensive. Budget-wise, maybe the price per 1,000 viewer, for example, on TV is less, but overall budget it's more expensive to rest on or use traditional media only. تمام. So I'm happy for the discussion, but let's move on. I'm going to tell you a very nice example about Oreo. I don't know, you all know the biscuit Oreo, right? It's a very nice biscuit. It's well known طبعا. It's popular in Qatar and in the whole world. It's a very successful global brand. They were in 2013. They were celebrating their being in the market for 100 years, and they made a very interesting campaign. It was mainly using traditional media, but they also used some alternative marketing techniques like themed events, and they also use some social media. One of the main things is that they composed a specific jingle for the campaign. It was called Wonder-Filled Anthem. The title of the campaign is Wonder-Filled. I'm going to show you two versions of the ad in English that were aired, one in Asia, I think, and one in Europe. And I want to know your opinion about it. Now, this is going to be a competition for all of you, huh? It's a test for it's a revision for chapter 6. I'm going to let you watch the ads, okay? Now, I want you to, please, I want you to find out for me, what is the message strategy of the campaign? Cognitive, effective, or cognitive? And if cognitive, which type? Or effective, which type? خلاص? And what is the message أصلا of the campaign? And what are the appeal or appeals that have been used? And what is the executional framework? خلاص? Can you do that? تمام? Are you ready? Huh, guys? Are you ready? Are you following? Everybody?
Yes, we're ready. We're
Yes.
following.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Please look, and then I'm gonna start to ask you the 3 questions. Try to find out. يلا. This is kind of a revision for the exam, because this is exactly what's going to happen in the exam. You're going to get ads, and you're going to be required to identify these components in the ads and also justify your answer. Justification is very important, because justification is the only way that I can know that you understand. Okay. I'm going to show you this is 2 ads.
Wonder if I gave an Oreo to those official guys who run the world, would they be inspired to dream and share more than chocolate and cream?
That's one ad. There's another ad.
Wonder if I gave an Oreo to that wicked scheming sorcerer, would he still cheat Aladdin? Take that magic lamp from him, or send him and his princess home with it. Wonder-filled wedding gifts. Wonder if I gave an Oreo.
Right. This is the campaign. I mean, just 2. There's many ads for the campaign. This is just 2 of them. What do you think? What is the message of the campaign? The campaign message? Easy, it's an easy question. Yalla. Come on. Come on, guys. What's that?
It's basically about spreading, I guess, love and peace. Basically, like, the harmony between and the harmony, I guess, like stopping problems that are happening in the world. Basically, that's what I got.
It's just showing you how it's very, as it's written here, making bad things good. And how the biscuit, it's a dreamy thing, and how the biscuit is, if I give them, they will be nice people and rule the world in a good way. If I give it to the Jafar, he's gonna be nice and let Aladdin go. It's like طبعا a kind of what I want to say, fantasizing a little bit. But at the same time, this is the main thing. The title of the campaign is Wonder-Filled. It's called Wonder-Filled. The title of the campaign, Wonder-Filled. Okay, wonder coming from imagining and stuff like that. Right, جميل. طب what is the message strategy here? What is the message strategy? Is it cognitive, is it effective, or is it cognitive? Come on. It's easy. And this is the exam questions, by the way. You have to know how to think like that and analyze. I told you have to practice this. Every time you see ads around you now, you should look at them differently. You should try to analyze them. This is something that you should learn from the course. Now think about communication together. قول خالد قول يا خالد.
Yeah, I think it's cognitive, because it's like it's like raising some question, like wonder if you have Oreo biscuit, and it's like
what kind of
maybe.
cognitive? If it's cognitive, what kind of cognitive?
Because it makes a customer like question themselves that they have this Oreo, will they be happy like this?
What kind of cognitive, ya Khaled? We took 5 kinds of cognitive. What kind of cognitive? Guys, do you agree with Khaled's cognitive? First of all, come on. Where is the rest of the class?
I would say it's affective, but I'm still not sure which type though. I wouldn't say it's cognitive.
It's easy. I don't think it's cognitive. Cognitive, I said before, cognitive involves mainly thinking about something that will give you a lot of information, or can يعني, stimulate your thinking to think about the brand and يعني, about what it offers and so on. So I don't think it's not cognitive. It is affective. But what kind of affective is it? Is it emotional or is it resonance? Is it emotional? Is it giving an emotional twist in some sort of relationships, or sympathizing with something around you, or sending an overall message about the brand? Well, it's resonance, talking about the experience of the brand and how it can make your overall welfare or quality of life better, and so on. Which is more? Is it resonance? Does it
I think
relate, or is it emotional?
But
doctor, it's affective and a resonance.
Yes, it is effective resonance. Bravo, ya Salman. Great, good. What is the appeal or appeals used? Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Also, the type of music they used, it was very positive. It was very light.
They used music because this is an anthem. Did you realize that the same music is in both ads, huh? And also,
Yes.
حتى it's written here, and they have an anthem. When you say music, but you have to explain what kind of use of music. Did they bring a well-known piece of music and just stick it to the campaign, or did they compose their own jingle? Huh?
I would feel
Or
that
did they just put background music that
they
puts a certain mood?
they made their own
I think
song because the
it was their
They
own
made
jingle.
their own song.
yeah,
Yes, they
because
made their own
the
jingle.
lyrics
So
of the
it's because
songs
they
have to do
even
with
they
Oreo.
even exactly they compose it, and even it's called the Wonder Filled Anthem. Okay, and they got someone to do it for them. This shitty bang, I don't know. I think it's someone, a composer or something. Okay, what else? Is it only music, or is there another appeal? Mm, mm. Is there any other appeal? Humor, and what other appeals? Emotional. What other appeals do we take? Or is it just music? I would say it's mainly music with a twist of joy or humor, يعني. Right? صح؟ ولا what do you think? Right? تمام?
I would say there is a bit of humor, but it's not like
Yeah,
as you said, the main thing is the music. Like
the
it's the
music.
focus of
Yes. تمام. برافو. طب the last question. What about the executional framework? Huh. Easy. This is the easiest one. Come on.
it was
Animation.
animation, wasn't it?
Animation. Yeah, yeah, it's animation. Yeah, it's basically cartoons and it's perfect. Yes. So now you understand how to do this. Practice this. Keep practicing this. Any ads that you see, try to dig out for these things. Try to apply your knowledge. Okay. But let's move on and have a dig back into this chapter كده to try to cover as many concepts as we can. So now it's time to plan for your actual campaign, week by week. You have a budget, you have your target audience, all defined. You have a specific objective that you need to fulfill, cognitive awareness, cognitive awareness objectives, affective and cognitive. Tamam, great. And you have tools that you have to match. All this, يعني, you are doing all this, يعني, analyzing and taking, as you can see, media planning. Yeah, this is two different things that you should be doing. Media planning and then media placing and buying. Media planning is media placing. Yani, what media am I going to be using and where am I going to be putting my ads exactly? What time of the day, which program, which I don't know what, which tool, in what format, يعني شوية details بقى. We're getting in details here. And then you have the media buying. You have to go and buy it. You have a budget. You have to go buy it actually. A general thing that's happening now in the market, in the industry of media, generally speaking, is that the media industry is becoming more and more consolidated, meaning that the line between media planning and media buying is becoming very hazy. Before, it was very strictly obvious that there is a difference between media planners were some people, media buyers were other people. This is a job of itself, and this is a separate one or a separate market. But because nowadays we have big names and big tycoons in the market that attempted not just to plan, like agencies and stuff like this, but they also own media that they can sell and they can use for their customers and sell or rent for others. For example, we have in Egypt a very well-known guru in the world of advertising, which is called Tariq Noor. He has a huge agency, Tariq Noor Communications. He has maybe 5 or 6 different brands for global advertising agencies in his company. That's not the only thing. This is media planning, right? That's not the only thing. He owns a TV channel. So he can put the ads on his own TV channel. So he's a media planner and media buyer at the same time, right? He owns spots, outdoor spots. He owns them. So he can use it for his clients and he can rent it to others or sell it to others, right? He is sponsoring specific radio stations and specific radio programs. He can also use that and so on. So the fine line between media planning and media buying is becoming very hazy, and the business is becoming consolidated every day. More control. So the media planners are more in control now than before. This is just a general, here in Qatar, Q Media, the company Q Media, very strong company. Why? Because it doesn't just plan for the campaigns. Actually, the planning is not that good. There are many other companies that are better in planning. But it owns the media. It owns outdoor spots. It owns and has access to specific TV programs and channels. It has access also to specific websites and so on. So it's a strong company. It makes it stronger and with more control. Tamam? So here, as you can see, all this information that's in front of you, you already know it from your marketing briefs. Analysis of your target market. Who are they? You define them in your marketing briefs. Target market number 1, target market number 2, target market number 3, and you describe them from the segment profiles in your segmentation table. So you know them. Focus on the consumer behavior. How do they behave? Focus on the behavioral elements for your consumers, for your target audience. How do they purchase the product? What are their typical media choices? What are their listening and viewing habits? Go back to Northwestern. Go back to the study. It's full of information. Put your target market there demographically and try to find out the behaviors on different social media and the penetration on different social media and what they do in their free time and this. So you have information about them. And this is a very important stage in when it comes to media planning. What are you trying to look for? What is your main objective? You are trying to find the most appropriate and the best point where your campaign message touches base with your target market. What is this best point? Is it the football match on beIN Sports during a well-known tournament or whatever, or a specific tournament that you know that your target market is following? For example, they follow the Premier League, most of them. I know this from research. Then I have to put my ads there during their matches, for example. It could be in the subway, in the train. It could be in a specific radio program that you know that your target audience is listening to. It could be a website that you know that they always visit. It could be a social media platform that you know that they have high demand on. Believe it or not, it could be places that are odd a little bit to you, but in Egypt, for example, sometimes you have ads in toilets. It's a little bit crazy, yani, but it's becoming common to see ads in weird places. In shopping malls, there is a lot of ads now taking place for specific target markets. So it depends on who, as Khaled said and before, it depends on who is your target. But what you are doing all the time, why are you bringing all this information? Why are you digging and getting all this information from marketing briefs? To try to find the most appropriate points, what we call the prime time or the prime times, where the best time when I can touch base my campaign message with my target market to guarantee it will go through and it will reach my target market. This is what you are looking for when you are making media planning. This is what you are looking for the best, the highest exposure time, the best time that you can match your target audience with the tools. يعني, where is this stuff? You're looking for through research, through having information about your target audience, about the media characteristics, and about, of course, taking in consideration your budget, because it's your only constraint. So you have to think, if my target market, for example, is working mothers or mummies, generally speaking, okay, you know, they listen to this specific radio program in the morning while they are dressing up their kids for school or taking them to school inside the car or in the kitchen or whatever. مثلا برنامج كيف أصبحت, or it comes in the Qatari channel, I don't know, can't remember the name. So I put my ad there, for example, because this is my target market. I'm matching. You understand what I'm saying? So guys, it is not something random. You're not going to sit together, oh, okay, let's plan for the campaign. Yeah, let's start that with mass media. Let's bring TV. Let's bring this. And then we can go down to social media. And then we can do an event in the third week. And then we can do this in the fourth. It doesn't happen like this. It doesn't go like that. You have specific objectives you want to fulfill. And you have a specific target market, has characteristics and has media habits that you have to talk to. That's very important, by the way. Extremely important. This matching. So all this you're looking for this. This point is called the aperture concept or the aperture point. And in some theory, they really make a very nice metaphoric description for it. This point, the one that's the best time to touch base between your target audience and your message, your campaign message. You know, if anybody is interested, is anybody interested in baseball? Has anybody interest or anybody knows anything about baseball? No? No, no, no.
A little bit, doctor.
Okay. What happens in baseball? You have the guy who throws the ball, and you have the bat, right? And you have to try to hit the ball with the bat. And of course, if you just blast it off and it goes nowhere, خلاص, this is cool, and you go round and you're a winner. Basic, yeah. This is basic. Okay, basics of baseball. تمام? So in a very interesting way, one of the authors in a book, and I like the way that they have made this metaphor, they made a description of the idea of the aperture point or the best point where your message, your campaign message touches base with your target audience, which is called the aperture concept. Okay, is that it's exactly the same as the bat, a baseball bat hitting for a home run. You know what's a home run? It's a very well-known term in baseball. Home run is like, khalas guys, we did it. We're going home because we won. That means that the bat has managed to hit the ball in the sweet spot. You get it? So when it hits it in a sweet spot, what happens? The ball can go in the stadium, khalas, to the audience. You did it. So you won. You did what you want to do. So the aperture point is exactly the same. You want to make sure that what's the bat? The bat is your campaign message. What's the ball? It's your target audience. You want to make sure that the bat, tamam, your message has touched with your target audience in the right time, at the right place. Huh? That's most appropriate for them. So you make sure that your message will go through, it will reach them. So it's exactly like hitting a ball for a home run. You have to fetch for this point. You have to look for it. You have to research it. You have to try as much as possible to place your ads in the right way, at the right time, in the right place that's appropriate for your target audience. So these are some examples of these points or the best times that you can expose your target audience. Depends طبعا on your target audience. Go ahead, ya Khalid.
Actually, Doctor, I want to add something. Actually, it depends on the season for advertising. Like, for example, I'm gonna bring you two products, AC and heater. Like, we use heater in the winter, and we use AC in the summer. So it's best to advertise about AC in the summer. But some other products, like for example, milk, we use it all seasons. We use it in winter. We use it in summer. So it doesn't matter the time. So it depends actually on the product.
But this is something else, ya Khalid. Yeah, I'm not talking about something general. I'm talking about specific time. No. Specific media placing. يعني, okay, you're gonna make advertising for AC in summer. By the way, AC companies don't make their campaigns in summer. They make them mainly in winter to prepare for summer. This is something I've been working with a consultant here in Qatar, by the way, with a very big AC company. Okay, and they always are stressing that they want to finish everything before the start of summer, because in early summer they start campaigning. They don't wait until summer is finished. It's not wise, or until summer is started for a long time. But anyway, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about where to put your actual ad. Summer is huge. Summer. I'm talking about tools, not the season. I'm talking about tools. يعني TV, radio, social media, events, sponsorship. I'm talking about the choice of tools, not the choice of time of the year. Understand me? So the point I'm talking about that you're looking for is not a point in time of a year. No, it's the point I mean by it, a specific place in a specific media tool and a specific time. For example, a specific TV show, a specific radio show, a specific social media tool in a specific time. يعني Instagram on weekends مثلا. You understand me?
Yeah, I got.
That's what I'm talking about. Not generally summer, winter. طبعا this is normal. Normal يعني this is normal. For example, we see some companies are related to seasonality. We totally agree about that. But I'm talking about the aperture concept rests on the right time in terms of the right choice of media exactly. Media placing. Where are you placing your message? What is the best place to put in your message? In which tool? This is very important. Basically, this is what you're trying to do. Look at this to conclude, this diagram. You have your target market. You understand the characteristics very well, and you try to match it with the characteristics of your media tools. Given the budget, that's the only limitation that you have. Given that you have a budget that you cannot go beyond. Clear? It's okay? Any questions so far? تمام. طبعا this is a nice ad for a bank, and it's interesting actually to see how they did it in a very nice and cartoonish way. The bank is called JD. JD gets me going, and it shows how the bank is supporting farmers, and it's targeted to farmers. It's targeted to farmer and his son وبتاع مستخدم emotional شوية عامل very interesting, and they are helping them to get tractors and to develop their business and so on. So very focused, very targeted, very interesting. This is just media. نخش بقى على the other side of the coin, or the other side, which is the buying. On what basis are you going to buy? You have to look for the effectiveness. Related to what? Quality of media choices, creativity, financial, of course, the dealing with the agency. Do they understand your brand? Are they capable of delivering what you want? And it's very important. حتى بنشوف global brand names, they are dealing with global agencies globally, عشان not to make any confusion and misunderstanding, and make sure that this agency understands your brand inside out. That's very important. Some advertising terminologies بقى that we should know. This is the last thing we're going to be taking, because we're going to be continuing, inshallah, this chapter next week, and we're going to continue. We'll finish it, inshallah, probably by Sunday, inshallah. Here, you have to understand the difference between reach, frequency, opportunities to see, gross rating points, which are usually how we grade or how we assess TV programs and TV shows. تمام. Costs. We have to understand also the cost per thousand CPM. These are very interesting terms that you should know. Very interesting terms that you should know. First of all, what's frequency? What's the difference between reach and frequency? Reach is basically the number of people who at least saw your or are exposed to the media vehicle, at least during a specific time that you are going to put. Typically, as you can see, it's 4 weeks or 1 month. They saw it once, they will be capable of seeing it at least once. But how much? For example, you're like, والله أنا my reach is 10 million. خلاص, okay, they will see it once. تمام. This is something. Does this guarantee perception? No. Does this guarantee awareness? No, not necessarily. You don't know بقى exposure is something, and perception طبعا is something else. So this represents the number of people, households, or whatever that are exposed to the media vehicle, whatever it is, TV channel, radio program, Instagram, social media, whatever, at least once during a specific time. And at least once, these are the people who I know are on this media, so they will see my ad at least one time. تمام.
I think that there is something covering your mic. Sorry.
You can't hear me?
Earlier, like you were covering your mic.
Covering? No, I wasn't covering. Wallahi. Oh, can you hear me now? It's okay.
Yeah, now it's clear.
The other one is frequency. Frequency is different. It's the average number of exposures, because you can see the exposure more than once. Reach is, I'm going to reach these people. But frequency, how many times can they see me? How many times? So it's the average number of exposures. تمام. Usually, مثلا, for example, this is then translated into opportunities to see. يعني typically, this is cumulative exposures. What do? You say that, wallahi, I'm going to put, let's come on, calculate with me. I'm going to put, for example, 3 ads, for example, on TV, تمام, and on a TV show. And this TV show is run 3 times, or for example, something weekly. يعني عندي مثلا, for example, let's take any TV show. Arabs مش عارف idol ولا مش عارف these things that are happening, the stars things, ولا كان بيجي برنامج, I don't know, stop doing it لأن طبعا لبنان they have problems now, اللي هو Star Academy and all that. Say, for example, I'm Coca-Cola and I'm going to put my ad in Star Academy once in this TV show, for example, okay? And this show is a weekly show. It comes every week. So what is the opportunity for you as an audience to see it? How many times? How many times do you have the opportunity to see my ad? Come on, easy. 3? Come on. I put it 3 times, and this ad is aired every week. So every week you can see it 3 times. And so how many? 3 times 4. So your opportunity to see is 12 times. You have 12 times opportunity to see my ad. It's clear? It's very easy. It's placement times frequency. It's placement times frequency. I'm said, well, if, for example, a specific program on BN Sports talking about legends and football and stuff like this. I'm going to put my ad, say 2 to 3 times, 3 times, or so 4 times in this program, for example. This program is happening twice a week, not once a week. So across 1 month, how many times do you have the opportunity to see it?
16 times.
Exactly. خلاص, it's clear. It's clear. The GRPs, it's not very important for you to know. يعني it measures the intensity of the media plan in terms of the TV show. You know, that's why sometimes we have TV shows that have higher rates for their advertising compared to others. And sometimes you have specific TV channels who you have to pay higher to have an ad in them compared to others. At the same time, because this chapter is focusing on traditional media, that's why I'm talking about these things, because these are the main measures for traditional media. In terms of other kinds of media, we're going to be talking about other terminologies, but it's important for you to know these terminologies. For the GRPs are usually, the GRPs, 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry. The GRPs is usually done for TV channels and TV programs. Okay, you see, you are measuring the rating of the vehicle. It has a rate, يعني 1, 2, 3, 4. It depends on the success of this TV channel and the level of exposure and the level of reach and so on. They all have rates, تمام? And you multiply it by the opportunities to see for each one, so you can have an indication of how strong this program or this channel or this radio channel or حتى outdoor ad is, and so on. طيب. Costs here بقى where we're going to stop, because I want to explain to you about the costs per thousand. This is the most important one that you will be maybe using in your projects, and I can get also questions for it in the exam, which is what we call the cost per thousand أو the CPM. تمام. طبعا the rest is يعني continuity, impressions. You can always يعني know about, it's easy to know about this. يعني continuity is the continuous weighted CPM. It's not required for me to calculate this, but what I want you to understand really is the CPM. This is the cost per thousand audience, whether it's readers, whether it's viewers, whether it's listeners, listeningship. So we're talking about listeningship, hearingship, and readership. How do you measure this? It's very easy. You have to compare them for lower. The lower the CPM, the better. The lower the cost per thousand, the better. تمام. How is it calculated? تعالوا let's
CPM stand for
cost per thousand. It
cost
stands for
per.
cost per thousand. Yeah, this is how it is. يعني we always know it like that. يعني cost per thousand. تمام. Cost per thousand audience. يعني. Now let's look at this example. This is an example. For example, say you want to have a campaign. تمام. And يعني it's usually also why you see a little bit into ممكن تكونوا يعني يعني confused a little bit why it's called CPM and it's cost per ton, because it was originally like called cost per mile أو milli يعني milli, milli is another word for thousand يعني. Anyway, let me go back and explain to you. طيب, here for example, say you have a campaign and you want to put an ad in one of these magazines. This is magazines. This is all magazines. Better Homes, Glamour, Good Housing, National Geographic, Reader's Digest, Southern Living, Sports Illustrated, and Times. Our Time. خلاص, these are different kinds of magazines or publications, and you want to choose between them. So, what we are interested in for our discussion is this. Can you see it? طيب. How is it calculated? Yeah, get your calculators out. Try to do this. Let's see. Better Homes and Gardens. تمام. Better Homes and Gardens. What is the cost? How is this calculated? Look, this is the formula. Can you see the formula? Cost of buying the media on the total number of audience that are exposed to this media divided يعني times 1000 يديك cost per thousand, and of course the lower the better. So what are you doing here? First, how much is this medium? And how much does it cost? Huh? Total paid and verified circulation. The price, what's the price? 506,380. Let's do it together. يلا. تمام. This is the cost. Is this clear? Huh? Let's do it together. I want to make sure you understand. 506,380. Divided by the total number of circulation, which is 7,600,048 تمام. Times 1000 equals what? Huh? $66.218. So each 1000 reader costs me $66.21 if I'm going to advertise in this magazine. Is it clear? Easy. You put the cost of the medium on the total number of audience times 1000 will give you the cost per thousand reader, listener, viewer. Depends on what you're measuring, what tool you are using. Is it clear or no?
But
any questions?
This step is not accurate. Like for example, the cost is different and the number of audience are different. Like for example, this is 7.5 million, and the second one is 2 million and 3 million.
Of course, they have to be different because they are different magazines. When you're comparing between them, and choosing the best choice for you. And this terminology or this kind of criteria is used to choose between the different mediums. So you have the CPM for 5-6 different TV programs, and you choose the lowest one that's gonna be cost effective for you. This is just one way to assess medium. Cost is not the only criteria. Cost is not the only criteria, but is one important criteria. So given this example, which choice is the best?
I think Reader Digest.
Reader's Digest, because it's the cheapest.
Yes.
However, you have to go. However, it's not the only criteria, as I said. What if my target audience is better using Sports Illustrated? They're more reading sports. Will I still follow Reader's Digest? No, you have to think. يبقى it's not. يبقى the only criteria is not just cost. You have to also think about going back. We have to think about the characteristics of our target audience and whether this target audience is they read this medium or originally or no, and so on. There are many things you have to take into consideration. But CPM is an important also criteria for this. Very important criteria. خلاص, it's clear?
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Any questions? Everybody, any questions?
Doctor,
I
can
will
we
stop.
see that the CPM is like important criteria as financially aspects?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Cost aspect. مش عندك budget, you have to read, you have to meet your budget يا أحمد. So you have to take it into consideration. You can calculate this for any medium, especially traditional. طبعا talk about traditional in TV, radio, sometimes outdoor, newspaper, printed ads, all. تمام. If you want to compare between different kinds of media. عندك 3 or 4 TV programs and you want to compare between them. Calculate the CPM so that you make sure that you choose the lower cost. تمام. Clear?
Yes,
But
It's one of the criteria.
as you
It's one of the criteria
yeah,
amongst.
you have constraint like cost constraint, which is important.
طبعا the cost is very important. مفيش كلام. انت مش open budget يعني. ما ينفعش. صح؟ طيب I will stop here.